Okay, guys. I am Holly Devers. I am an Emerald under Angie, and Angie asked me if I would go ahead and start us off tonight. Um, we have the amazing Jennifer Leath, Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and she is going to share with us just her story, some tips from the top. She trains at convention. She is a wonderful woman. She loves the Lord. If you haven't seen her Diamond documentary, you need to go and check it out. She has 4 sweet babies and a homeschooling mom. And so she is busy, 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 but she does not make excuses. I would like, though, to ask if anybody, when you come in, make sure you go ahead and mute yourself, because sometimes it'll pop over to you and we won't be able to hear all of Jennifer's story. So when you come in, make sure you do that. And then Eric's going to be muting people when they enter as well. But Jennifer, thank you for taking time out of your day to pour into us. And I cannot wait to hear everything you share with us tonight. Oh, I think you're muted. You might, can you hit unmute?
I was saying some good stuff. You missed, that was really my top tip. It's all right. So I was going to tell you that Angie and I saw each other at convention, and we both just locked eyes. This is before she won Musha K. What is that all about? We locked eyes and we said, I need to have you on my Zoom. Same time, looking at each other. And so we just decided to switch off tonight. So my team right now is hearing from her, and you're hearing from me. And I'm super excited. About your story. I want to talk to you about. Do you hear it echoing? Can you hear me echoing back? No. What is that? Now let's see. It's fixed. Okay. All right. Pretend like none of that ever happened. I want to share with you my story. I want to talk to you guys about communication skills and how that will help you build your business. I definitely want to talk to you guys about reaching out and not letting fear stop you. And I also wrote down, how do you want to make other people feel? So we'll try to cover all those topics. And then if you guys have questions at the end, we can cover that too. But you know, how many of you sit down and you hear someone, let me tell you my Plexus story. And you're like, here we go. And it always starts the same, right? Well, I just signed up for the wholesale price and I never expected a business, right? That's like always the beginning of it. And maybe we start to glaze over, but what if we empowered ourselves to believe that every story matters? So what if you just had an arsenal of stories in your brain, and you're out and about in your life, at the playground, at church, at school, anywhere, and you hear someone say something and one of those stories pops up in your head, and you know we're a Plexus family, right? I may not know each of you, but we're all friends. We know each other because we love the same thing. So it'd be perfectly acceptable to say to someone, you know, that reminds me of my friend Jennifer. Let me tell you what happened to her. I'm your friend, right? So you can use these stories to grow your business. And I want you just to take my story, take your story, and go and change the world. I'm truly a big believer that Plexus is the vehicle that makes life a heck of a lot better. The things that we do for others is really key. I think when I first started, I had it in my head that I wanted Plexus to sponsor my son's Little League team. First of all, the fact that I could afford to put him in Little League was amazing to me. And then I thought, wouldn't it be neat to sponsor that? I was already thinking about giving back, and I want us as a company, I know today Marianne Luciano was meeting about giving back, what we're going to do with our philanthropy, and we're going to really make a mark on the world with Plexus. So Plexus made its mark on make a mark on the world because of what Plexus has done. So when I started Plexus, we were probably, like a lot of you, struggling. I mean, how many of you guys are struggling to make things meet? Raise your hand. I mean, it's not easy, right? Life is not easy. Things are unexpected. Bills after bills after bills. My husband worked super hard, but here's the conviction I had. And I wanted this before I even met my husband. I was going to homeschool my kids. I went to public school. I had no reason to want to homeschool other than it was just in me. I wanted to be home, and I wanted to have a gajillion children. Come to find out, I don't exactly enjoy childbirth, so I stopped at 4. But I wanted to homeschool. And so that meant, even though I had a biology degree and a gajillion student loans, I was staying home. Now, I tutored. I cleaned houses for people. I remember one time someone was moving out of a house and they asked if I would clean the house for them. And I was almost 8 months pregnant. She was going to pay me $50. Okay, that was like $1 million. I remember going over there pregnant. The water had been turned off because they had already moved out. And I still had to clean that house. And I remember sitting there scrubbing, and it was gross, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with that being your career or your job, but I felt at that moment, like, what has my life come to? Why is it that everything's a struggle? Will I ever be able to go to the grocery store and say yes? If my kids say, can we buy a watermelon? I always had to say no all the time. Beans and rice for dinner, noodles and spaghetti sauce for dinner, meat, no. We were like forced vegetarians because we did not have money to buy meat. And in about, I would say 2011, just struggle after struggle after struggle, we just made a really hard decision. One that I've even wanted to not share, but I've realized that stories matter, and one of you might be struggling in the same way or have in the past or know someone that is. My husband and I decided that we needed help with groceries. And it even scares me now to say this, but we made a decision to get help with groceries. I'll show you this. I carry this in my wallet still. You may or may not know what this is. Do you know what that is? That was my life before Plexus. This is a food stamp card. And we got $379 a month on the 15th of every month. And this is how my children ate. We didn't go to movies. We didn't go out to eat. I didn't get my hair done. We didn't have credit card debt. We didn't have a fancy car. All the things that you think, well, you shouldn't be spending on this, we didn't. And I needed this help. But you know words that are attached to this? Shame, fear, I felt trapped by this. And I would have done whatever it took, any opportunity that came in my way to make our lives better. I had a strong why. And so when Plexus came into my life, it took me 6 months to be able to afford it. My mother-in-law gave us money. You've heard this, I'm sure, in my Diamond documentary. And then I talked to my husband. I said, what do you think? She gave us $100. What do you think? Could we do this? And Suzanne helped me with the sign-up fee, and I signed up. And I was terrified because I was so afraid of getting my backup order. At the time, I think they called it my auto qual. And I immediately called my mom and my sister, my best friend, because I knew I needed that money to afford to go another month. And little did I know the path before me. And all it took was being willing to say yes and stop saying no, and starting to be a little braver and a little bolder. And for whatever reason, I was consistent as possible with my products. I had amazing results. I believe in our products. I truly believe in our products. And I think it's really user error when people struggle with results. And that could be lack of patience. But I'll tell you what, my journey with Plexus, you know, we all have it. We have hard days, we have good days, mountaintop moments, valley moments. But my journey with Plexus has overall been an absolute gift, an absolute gift. And if I could ever make a difference in anyone's life and tell you right now that you can do this, that there's not a reason in the world that you cannot. If you are willing to work on your communication skills, if you are willing to say the things that you need to say and grow in the areas that you need to grow, if you're willing to make a difference, then Plexus, it's all for you. You can do it. So I want to talk to you about communication skills. I wrote a couple things down. I had a girlfriend over the other day, and she's at Senior Gold, kind of been there a while, and I said, hey, come over and let's go over some of your messages. I'm reading through her messages. And if you've ever coached someone before, you know you always ask permission. You don't want to just give an opinion and hurt someone's feelings. So I asked her permission. I said, can I look at your messages and let you know what I see? And when I looked at her messages, it wasn't personable. It wasn't connecting. And it almost always said, let me know. Just let me know. Well, those words, first of all, they sound businessy, but it puts the ball in someone else's court. I'll let you know when I decide. If someone said to me, just let me know if you're interested. Well, I'm not, so I'll never be letting you know. Those are the worst words you can use in your messaging. Another thing people tend to do, and I noticed this in her messaging, and she's not on this Zoom, so I can totally just say all this, is that she talked a heck of a lot about herself, and there was no question asked about her. And so I would encourage you in your messaging, hey, how have you been? I saw that picture of you when you made that cake for your daughter. I so want to learn to do that. I thought we would just connect again, see how each other are doing. Tell me what's going on in your life. Did you notice something? I didn't talk about plexus at all. It's okay. Every person I invest in, they come and they join. Every person. So here's another example. I'm out at the grocery store, and at first this was a little awkward, but I made a decision that I will learn to talk to people. I will learn to encourage people. So I would see someone. Sarah Robbins says, always compliment their purse. Well, I tried that. It didn't feel that natural, but I thought, I like your purse. And I didn't have to give them a card. I didn't have to ask them if they heard of plexus. I may not ever see them again, but I was practicing. And now I'm at the place, I'm telling you now, I could talk to anyone, anywhere. I've been doing this 4 years. This may be the beginning of your journey. You may be halfway through, but you have to learn to talk to people. When you talk to people in a way that connects you, they will never forget you. They will want to do what you do because they felt seen. Have you ever seen Avatar when they say, I see you? You want to see people. You want to hear people's heart. I am a sucker for making people cry, and I'm good at it. We just did a why Zoom at 7 o'clock. We had about 100 people on, and we talked about our why. We were crying, and it was amazing. It's like the best hour of my life. Why is that important? Because when you touch people, and Les Brown talks about this, he said when you touch people, physically touch them, it increases their receptiveness to you by about 30%. That is so huge. Sonia Dudley taught me how to shake someone's hand and at the same time lean forward and touch their shoulder. Who would have thought? Simple, right? But what we're doing, we're not just selling products. We are changing lives. And it can't be like swiping a product across a cash register and taking money. It can't be that way. This is a relationship. This is playing ball. So learning to communicate with people, asking questions, saying things that are encouraging, connecting with them, hearing them, remembering their name. I saw a girl at convention, and this is not easy, but you can practice. When I saw her, I had met her last year at Winter's Dinner, and I said, hey, how are you doing? Are you still teaching? She goes, how do you remember that? Because I chose to make that important. Remember people's stories. You don't have to remember their names, because I sure don't. Remember their stories. When you see someone, try to remember what they've been through or what they're going through. The better you love people, I promise you this, the more they're prone to want to try the products you sell. They are connecting feeling loved to the products you sell. And do it with a genuine heart, obviously. Okay, the other thing I want to talk to you about, how do you want to make people feel? This comes down to branding. So branding is a really big word, right? We hear it all the time. Brand yourself. Got to have your brand. What's your brand? Well, this isn't about you, right? So we're not trying to find out how awesome you are and how you can become like Facebook famous and how you can get 7,000 likes, because no. If you're out there all about you, I promise this too. The results are nowhere near if you make it all about them. So every time I post on Facebook, I think, how could this help someone? Encourage them, empower them, inspire them, lift them up, change them, make them think. Everything is about how my effect is on them. If you do that, it really does engage your audience. It brands you. You've left an impression. I said at convention, imagine every person you meet that you leave a stamp on them, literally. When you're talking to them, you put a stamp on them. That is your brand. That is the impression you are leaving behind with them. Can you imagine if someone said to somebody, hey, have you heard of Plexus? I've got a really good friend. She is the nicest, kindest, most giving person, and it makes me want to try Plexus. I mean, can you imagine if your community wanted to try it because you were making such a difference? It's a new way of thinking about it, right? If we become synonymous with love and health and happiness, people can't help but want to try what we have. And forget about the fact that this truly is the very beginning of the craziest momentum that Plexus has ever seen. You think that we've had amazing success in this company up until now? It won't touch what's about to happen in our company. We truly will be the premier gut health company. Did you guys know you were signing up to be gut health ambassadors? Sounds awesome, doesn't it? But this is truly changing lives. And I will tell you, side note, in 10 days with 2 Slims a day and a Vital Biome at night, and don't throw rocks. I take it at night because it made me feel tired when I took it in the morning. I've lost 4 pounds. And I'm pretty excited about that. So I just thought I would share that little side note. So be a magnet that draws people in because you inspire them. What if you don't think you're very inspirational? Well, first thing I would do is get with your upline, especially your closest jewel upline, and say, look, I can take it. Sit down with me and look at my Facebook page. Tell me what you see. The truth is, I have a girl, kindest, most wonderful friend, love her. Interesting in person. You go to her Facebook page, she shares recipes and she shares other people's posts. So imagine if you got a Christmas card and your name is Jennifer and it said Stephen with a line through it, Merry Christmas with the person's name. They literally recycled a Christmas card and gave you it, right? That's the same thing as sharing someone's Facebook post. It's tacky. Don't do it. Copy the text, add your own special part to it, and then make it your own. That's exactly what I suggest to my team because people don't read shared posts. You probably agree with me on that. All right, the last thing I wrote down is define success for you. I just wanted to mention, Holly, it says the remaining meeting time is 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So I don't know if this is a timed Zoom or not. But here's the deal. Define success for you. So some of you think, I'm not doing good at this. I'm not diamond yet, or I'm not emerald yet. I've been doing this for 2 years. Those same people that say that, they probably have 2 customers. They've lost 10 pounds. Why can't we enjoy the journey, which I love that the new promotion pins say that, and not focus so much on the end destination? The journey is so worthwhile. It's important to stop and pay attention to what's happening on that journey. So I had a friend, she was at Senior Gold for a while. This is a different friend. And she was so down. And I thought I had said everything I could think of to encourage her. And when I went to her, I was like, I don't know what else to say to you. So I called up Diamond Brenda Martin. She came, she called her, and she said, do you think you're successful? She goes, no, I've been stuck at the same rank for a year. And she said, do you know how many people would want to be Senior Gold? And it was like a light bulb went off. Success is how you define it. And if you define it in a healthy way, you will feel successful. And when you feel successful, success breeds success. People will come in because they are attracted to your confidence, attracted to your success. If you say, I'm really successful at Plexus, you might be silver with 2 customers. In my book, that's success. If you define it in a healthy parameter, it changes your mindset. So I'm looking at Alita Allen. I don't know if you know her story. If you were at convention, you heard her sing. And I have no regrets with messaging her over and over and over again about Plexus. And I did it in a loving way. I was connecting, but I was not giving up. I wanted this girl, and it was going to happen. I have no regrets. Of course, I could never have predicted that she was going to lose her husband. Never. But she needed Plexus. And do you know that mindset is what has gotten her through? It's her mindset that she works on a regular basis. Talk about no excuses. Her husband died. Her mom died 3 months later, and she's working her business. It sure does make a hard day, not being able to get dinner ready, the kids acting up, not sound quite so